For nearly 50 years, it drifted through the void like a ghost ship, forgotten by most, remembered only by a few dreamers and space nerds. Voyager 2, that scrappy little spacecraft launched back when disco was king and computers were the size of closets, was never supposed to make it this far. It was built for just 5 years of action, and yet, it's still out there, floating way past Pluto, whispering secrets from the edge of the known universe. But then, something wild happened. Out of nowhere, NASA picked up a signal from Voyager 2, and it wasn't just some weak, glitchy blip. This transmission was sharp, accurate, and downright disturbing. Scientists were shook. This tiny machine had just pulled back the curtain on a side of space we didn't even know existed. We're talking about a cosmic boundary so razor-thin, it sliced through silence like a knife. And beyond it, something strange was moving, something organized, something that shouldn't be there. It wasn't just crossing into deep space anymore. Voyager 2 had uncovered a mystery hiding in plain sight. A silence that felt staged, and patterns that couldn't be random. What is it trying to tell us? And why does this signal flip everything we thought we knew about the universe upside down? The final message wasn't just data, it was a warning. And behind it, something far more structured, far more active, and way more dangerous than we ever imagined. See, Voyager 2 was built to survive, not to reveal deep truths. Launched in 1977, it was a long shot, a 5-year gamble. No one thought it'd even make it past Jupiter, let alone crawl into interstellar space. But it did. Through radiation, meteoroids, and the freezing dark, it kept pushing. And now, it's whispering back, with something we can't ignore. In 2018, everything changed, and not in the way scientists expected. As Voyager 2 got close to the so-called edge of the solar system, researchers were ready for a slow fade out of the sun's power. But nope, this wasn't some smooth exit. The data flipped instantly, like Voyager 2 had just crashed through an invisible wall. It was like stepping out of a warm room straight into a freezing storm. Out of nowhere, plasma density shot up like crazy. Magnetic fields snapped into place like they were being pulled by a magnet, and cosmic radiation, it exploded by over 70%. This wasn't some quiet transition. This was a straight-up cosmic slap in the face. Turns out, that edge of our solar system isn't fuzzy at all. It's a full-blown border. And Voyager 2 didn't just float by, it broke through. For years, science books claimed the edge, called the heliosphere, was just a soft zone where the solar wind kind of fades into space. But Voyager 2 said otherwise. The data showed that the heliosphere acts more like a force field, or even a living shell. It pulses, flexes, and reacts to the sun like it's alive. When the sun's active, this shell pushes out hard, shoving cosmic stuff away. But when the sun chills out, the shell shrinks, leaving us wide open to space radiation. That means this border isn't fixed. It moves, it breathes, it thinks. And get this, since Voyager 2 approached from a different angle than Voyager 1, it crossed that same line 2 astronomical units farther out, at 121 astronomical units instead of 119. So what does that mean? This boundary isn't just real, it's unpredictable. That distance difference between Voyager 1 and 2, it wasn't just some random glitch. It exposed something huge. That cosmic boundary, it moves, it flexes, and it adapts. And that changes everything. Because Earth's protection from the galaxy's brutal radiation isn't as solid as we thought. It's delicate, and it's getting smaller. But the wildest discovery didn't come from radiation levels or plasma surges. It came from something way deeper: magnetism. Once Voyager 2 settled into interstellar space, the instruments picked up something eerie. The magnetic field from our sun, it was almost perfectly aligned with the magnetic field outside the heliosphere. That should be impossible. Scientists had always believed there'd be chaos where those fields meet, messy angles, twisted lines, magnetic mayhem, but nope. The fields blended like they were designed to fit. Smooth, clean, perfect. And that's when things started getting real creepy. Was this just a natural alignment? Or had something, or someone, shaped it to be this way? Some researchers lost it. Theories started flying. Fast. Could this strange, flawless zone be acting like a galactic filter, a checkpoint, or even worse, is it being watched? Could something out there be tracking everything that crosses that invisible line? Voyager 2 didn't give us answers, but it dropped serious questions, the kind that shake your understanding of reality. And then, the blackout. In 2019, just when tension was building, Voyager 2, the furthest active probe we've ever sent, went dead silent. No warning, no tech errors, nothing. Just total blackout. NASA engineers were stuck watching a blank screen, helpless, while this tiny machine sat over 11 billion miles away, unreachable. And then, out of nowhere, it came back, fully functioning. No human reset, no explanation, just back online like nothing ever happened. What really happened out there? NASA claimed it was just aging hardware, nothing serious, but behind closed doors things weren't adding up. Hidden deep in the telemetry from Voyager 2 were strange electromagnetic spikes. Not normal, not random. These weren't your average tech hiccups. They didn't match any known pattern. Could it have been a burst of cosmic rays? Maybe. Or was it something else? Something triggered by whatever Voyager crossed out there? Officially, the idea of interstellar watchers got laughed off. But off the record, even scientists at top-level meetings started whispering. Because what Voyager 2 stumbled on wasn't just the edge of the sun's reach. It felt like the beginning of something way bigger. Just weeks after crossing the heliopause, that invisible border where the sun's influence ends, Voyager started picking up weird signals, low-frequency plasma pulses echoing through space, like a beat. But this wasn't solar wind. It wasn't cosmic background noise. This was too clean, too steady. Every 13.2 hours, like clockwork, that pulse didn't change for weeks, then months, and still, no one knows where it's coming from. Deep space is supposed to be messy, chaotic, unpredictable. But this was organized, like a signal or a warning. And here's where it gets real creepy. The pulses weren't hitting Voyager directly. Instead, they were messing with its communication lag. Subtle, almost like the fabric of space around the probe was shifting. Not fast, not violent, but like something huge was out there, breathing, expanding, contracting, bending the space around it. Not seen, not heard, but felt. What kind of force does that? And how long has it been out there, watching in the dark? When scientists converted Voyager 2's plasma data into sound, it didn't buzz or beep like a machine. It beat like a heartbeat. Not robotic, not digital. It felt organic, like the probe didn't just leave the solar system. It had stepped into something alive. While that eerie pulse kept echoing every 13.2 hours, Voyager's plasma wave instrument started picking up bursts of energy. At first, they looked random, sharp spikes followed by dead silence. But once the data was mapped out over time, a pattern emerged. It wasn't chaos. It was deliberate. The bursts formed a spiral wave, with energy building at perfect intervals. This wasn't just weird, it was structured, and it lined up with the Fibonacci sequence. Yeah, that same pattern that shows up in seashells, hurricanes, even the shapes of galaxies. Some scientists were left speechless. Others started asking questions no one wanted to touch. Could this pattern be intelligent? Was it reacting to Voyager, or communicating with it? A growing group of insiders stopped calling it a space anomaly. They started calling it something else, a response field. Because whatever was out there, it wasn't just sitting still, it was answering Voyager's presence. And the deeper the probe traveled, the stronger that response got. What started as random plasma noise, it was starting to feel like a language. Then came one of the most shocking readings yet. Voyager sent back its deepest magnetometer data, and instead of weakening like expected, the field flipped. Not dropped, not faded. It inverted. That broke all the rules. Space wasn't behaving like it should. The probe seemed to pass into a zone where time, gravity, and energy were bending in ways nobody could explain. It was like space itself had warped, but with no massive object nearby to cause it. Almost like Voyager had crossed into some kind of invisible lens, where the laws of physics didn't apply. While NASA's best minds scrambled to make sense of it all, one bold theory started gaining traction, a theory that flipped everything upside down. What if the heliopause, that so-called edge of our solar system, isn't a barrier, but a window? A one-way filter that lets our signals leak out, but blocks anything from coming back in. If that's true, it means we're not just floating in a space bubble. We're shielded. On purpose. And Voyager 2, it just poked a hole in that shield. And whatever's on the other side might have seen us. Then came the part no one could explain at all. Out of nowhere, Voyager 2 started transmitting telemetry logs from years ago. Data that was never supposed to exist. Logs encoded in formats the probe wasn't even programmed to use. Systems that were long thought dead suddenly came alive. Its internal memory, already stretched thin, looked like it was rewriting itself, digging into corners of the machine no one had touched in decades. NASA confirmed it. Nobody sent a command. Yet suddenly, old processors were blinking. Gyroscopes were aligning with deep space constellations like it was preparing for something. It wasn't acting like a 1970s probe anymore. It was doing things it should never be capable of. But the real kicker, the data wasn't just technical. It came with images, not clear, not direct, but strange flickers, star patterns, motion, and shadows. Blurred shapes that didn't match anything Voyager should be seeing. The visuals weren't from the probe itself. They looked like they were from around it, or around something else. So what was it recording? Real-time events? Or memories stored in space itself? Could the void be more than just empty? What if space is archived, and Voyager just tapped into the universe's forgotten files? Voyager 2 was never supposed to uncover truth. It wasn't built to find meaning. It was just a scout, a shot in the dark, a whisper tossed into the black, hoping that maybe, just maybe, the silence wouldn't last forever. But when it crossed that final breath of our solar system, what it sent back wasn't just data. It was a wake-up call. It shattered the idea that space is random. It crushed the belief that we're alone. It flipped the script on everything we thought we knew. We thought deep space was just empty. But what Voyager 2 found wasn't just physical. It was philosophical. A wall that breathes, a field that responds, a boundary that behaves. There's structure in the plasma. There's rhythm in the silence. There's design in the spiral. None of that should exist, and yet it does. So now we gotta ask, what does that really mean? Voyager 2 isn't just an old spacecraft drifting through space. It's become a mirror. It reflects us. It's a machine floating in the void, but only seems real because something is watching it, measuring it, meeting it halfway. Maybe the thing we've been ignoring this whole time wasn't floating out there. Maybe it's been inside us, our own ego. The idea that the stars don't care, that silence means nothing's out there. That belief just cracked wide open because Voyager didn't find the end, it found an invitation. And on the other side, maybe it's not a message. Maybe it's a witness, something or someone tracking our progress, watching how far we've come, judging the precision of our tech and the purpose behind our curiosity. We spent so long listening for a voice that sounded like ours that we missed the one already talking back. Not in words, but in energy, magnetism, and time. So if this feels too perfect, if the signals feel scripted, and the patterns are just too clean to be random, then maybe it's not coincidence. Maybe it's time to start listening, for real. So now the real question isn't just what's out there, it's why now? Why did Voyager 2 start revealing all of this only after crossing that invisible line? Why did decades of silence suddenly turn into a stream of strange signals, magnetic flips, ancient echoes, and rhythm patterns that look more like messages than noise? Something about this timing feels too clean, like the moment it broke through, something flipped the switch, on purpose. And here's where it gets even weirder. Every attempt to model the behavior of this new space environment has failed. The plasma doesn't move like it should. The magnetic field twists in ways no formula can explain. It's like the rules, the ones we've trusted for centuries, just don't apply anymore. Some scientists are quietly saying it, this isn't normal space, not just in terms of what's happening, but what's missing. No expected interference, no known debris, just a strange pulsing emptiness, and it's too clean to be accidental, like a hallway cleared out, waiting for something to arrive. Others are starting to think Voyager didn't just stumble into a mystery. It may have been led there, pulled in by forces we don't understand, because the deeper it drifts, the stronger the response field gets. It's not just discovering the unknown, it's triggering it. So ask yourself, what if we've been wrong about space this whole time? What if it's not a cold, empty playground, but a system, structured, reactive, maybe even aware? And Voyager 2, it might be the first thing to ever knock on that door. If Voyager 2 knocked on the door, then maybe the knock got answered. Because recently, the signals haven't just been steady, they've been reactive. Every time engineers tried to ping the probe with a command, something strange happened. Lag times shifted, minor fluctuations rippled through the readings, almost like something was anticipating the signal, or echoing it back with just enough delay to seem playful, or intentional. NASA's official line: glitches, delays. Nothing unusual for a machine that old, that far away. But off the record, people are worried. Some analysts swear the timing is too consistent to be random, like Voyager's being watched, not destroyed, not blocked, just studied. And here's the creepiest part. Deep in the telemetry, hidden under layers of raw data, were sequences no one expected. Repeating clusters of numbers and signal pulses that seemed meaningless, until someone ran them through pattern recognition software. What came back wasn't an answer, but structure, symmetry, patterns that look like code, but not ours. If this is a message, it's not meant for us to understand, at least not yet. That's the part that's shaking people. This isn't a threat, it's not even a warning. It's calm, controlled, like someone or something is watching how we react before deciding what happens next. Like a test, we thought we were the observers, the curious species reaching out. But now, maybe we're the experiment. And Voyager 2 was never alone out there. It just didn't know it was being seen. Until now. So what happens next? Nobody knows. But for the first time in history, we may not be the ones making that call. So now the question no one wants to ask out loud is this: did Voyager 2 wake something up? Because the universe has been quiet for so long, maybe too quiet, and what if that silence wasn't emptiness, but a pause, a waiting game, something patient, something watching? And now, after decades of drifting, one little probe finally crossed the line, and the silence started to crack, not with words, not with noise, but with rhythm, magnetism, movement, signals that aren't trying to communicate. They're trying to see how we respond. And that's what scares scientists the most, because this feels measured. It's not chaos. It's not a blast of energy or a hostile burst. It's more like observation, watching, recording, learning, and all of it, without a single word exchanged. Some insiders say this could be the most important moment in human history, the exact second we stopped being alone. But others, they're terrified, because whatever's out there didn't announce itself. It didn't introduce itself. It just started watching, quietly, closely, like it's been waiting for us to reach the edge. And now that we have, it's time to see if we're ready. And Voyager, it might be more than a probe now. It might be a mirror, a reflection of everything we've sent into space. Our tech, our ambition, our assumptions, all drifting in a machine built before cell phones even existed. So maybe this isn't about finding life out there. Maybe it's about showing what kind of life we are. And whoever, or whatever, is watching, they've finally seen us. Subscribe to this channel, because we're not just reading signals, we're tracking a conversation that may have already started. Hit that bell icon, because the next whisper from Voyager could shake the whole planet. Don't let this moment pass quietly. Share this with someone who still believes the void is just empty space. And drop a comment below. Do you think Voyager was just recording what it found? Or was something out there showing it what to see? We're stepping into the unknown now. No turning back. See you on the next one. And maybe next time, we won't be the only ones listening.